Hello everyone. Now let's get started with the lesson number 5 on adjective and adverb. What is an adjective? It's a word which describes the noun. It's a descriptive word. Let's take an example. He's a diligent boy. What kind of a boy is he? Diligent. The word diligent describes the boy, therefore it acts as an adjective. There are 10 girls in this class. How many girls? 10 girls. So the word 10 is an adjective. Let's take some more examples. Linda is a clever girl. What kind of a girl is Linda? Clever. The word acts as an adjective. I don't like that boy. Which boy? That boy. So the word that is an adjective. Now, as we know that the word that is also used to replace the noun and then it acts as a pronoun. But as we have already discussed before, that there's no fixed rule that a particular word will always be used as one parts of speech. It entirely depends on its usage in a sentence. If the usage changes, the parts of speech changes. So in this case, I'm talking about that boy. I'm describing the boy. So here that acts as like an adjective. He gave me 10 apples. How many apples? 10. So that's an adjective. There's little time for preparation. How much time? Little time. So little is describing the word time, so it acts as an adjective. Now let's try to see how adjectives are formed from nouns. The word boy is a noun and it can be used as an adjective when it is changed to the form boyish. Similarly, fool, foolish, care, careful, play, playful, laugh, laughable. Let's make a sentence. He's a fool to have believed his friend. Here, the word fool is acting as a noun. How foolish of him to have believed his friend. The word foolish is acting as an adjective because that word is describing he. Now, both the meaning of both the sentences is the same, but the usage of the word is in a different way. The context of the sentence has not changed. So, so that is what we call this variety of sentences, where we change the forms of the words from noun to adjective to adverb, and we try to use it in a different way without changing the context of the sentence. Let's try to see how we make adjectives out of verbs. Tired, tireless, cease, ceaseless, talk, talkative, move, movable. She talks a lot. The word talk is a verb. She's a talkative person. The word talkative describes the girl, that she's a talkative person, so it's an adjective. So how do we make adjectives from other adjectives? Tragic, tragical, white, whitish, sick, sickly, whole, wholesome. His father had a tragic death. I'm really sorry about this. So the word tragic defines the noun death. Therefore, it acts as an adjective. The whole incident was tragical. I cannot forget it. So the word tragical defines the incident. Even this acts as an adjective, but they're used in different ways, although the context of the sentence remains the same. Now let's try to understand how adjectives change in form to show comparison. They are called 3 degrees of comparison. Sweet, sweeter, sweetest. The first form is positive degree, sweet. The second form is comparative degree, sweeter. The third form is superlative degree, sweetest. So let's take some examples. Happy, happier, happiest. Easy, easier, easiest. Heavy, heavier, heaviest. So here it is easy because we're just adding some syllables in the end and we're trying to make a new word. So you can even make guesses if you do not know exactly what degree of comparison would that be. But with other words like beautiful, you cannot write beautiful or beautifulest. There's another way of expressing the degree of comparison for these words. Beautiful, more beautiful, most beautiful. Difficult, more difficult, most difficult. Courageous, more courageous, most courageous. Now let's go through few words that look similar. They mean almost the same, but the usage is different. And this is one of the areas where people make lots of, errors. So maybe you can just go through these and, ensure that you do not make these mistakes while using them. Elder and eldest mean the same as older and oldest, but their usage is different. We only use the adjectives elder and eldest before a noun when we are talking about relationships in a family. For example, she's my elder sister. He's my eldest son. But older and oldest can be used with respect to people and things also. Like, this is the oldest temple in Tamil Nadu. I'm talking about temple. My oldest sister is coming to stay with me at the weekend. So that's with respect to a person, or he's older than his sister. Let's take up another group of words, father and further. Both are used to express distance, but the word further is also used to mean additional. Like Chennai is farther or further from the equator than Colombo. Please reply without further delay means without more delay, without additional delay. Now, here I cannot use the word father. Here the usage is restricted to the word further only. Nearest, next. So the word nearest means the shortest distance away, whereas the word next means it refers to one of the sequence of things that means just next to another. Her house is nearest to the school, which means I'm talking with respect to distance. My uncle lives in the next house. That means maybe in number. With respect to number, it is the next house. So I cannot interchange. I cannot say my house is next to the school. It can be used if we are using it with respect to number, but if you want to use this word with respect to distance, then you have to stick to the word nearest. Let's try to look at the other group of words, each and every. We use each to refer to individual things in a group, like each of the boys, or each one takes turns cooking dinner in the evenings. And the meaning is very similar to every, but we use every to refer to a group of things, which is like three or more things. It is not used for two things. Everyone takes turns cooking dinner in the evenings. That means you're talking about a group, but each one takes turn means each of the people who are sitting there, they take turns. So the usage is slightly different. So you have to be careful while using it in your sentences. Okay, now let's go through adverb, which is a parts of speech. As the word suggests, adverb, adding to the verb, which means it describes the verb or an adjective or another adverb. For example, he finished the task quickly and left. How did it finish the task? Quickly. So when you ask yourself a question, how, and the answer to that action is the word which would define the action. Like the word quickly defines how he finished the task. So my word quickly is an adverb. She pronounced the word quite correctly. How did she pronounce the word? Quite correctly. So Garishma can read quite clearly. How can she read? Quite clearly. So my word clearly is an adverb, correctly is an adverb. Okay, and the word quite modifies the adverb clearly, which means it describes the adverb even more. So even the word quite is also an adverb. Let's try to go through the types of adverbs of manner, which show how or in what manner. So when you look at the sentence, you ask yourself the question how for the action, and the answer that you get would define your adverb of manner. The girl worked hard for her final exam. How did she? So you ask yourself question, how did the girl work hard? We laid down on the bed slowly and sadly so that his bleeding stops. How did we lay down on the bed? Slowly and sadly. So all these words that define the manner of my action are called adverbs of manner. The next is adverbs of time, which show when. I've read this before. When did you read this before? So you ask yourself a question when for the action, and the answer that you get would be the adverbs of time. He drinks milk every day. When does he drink milk? Every day. We shall now begin to work. Okay, so few more are adverbs of frequency, which show how often. I've told you twice. How often have I have told you twice. He seldom comes here. How often does he come here? Seldom. He usually gets late. How often does he get late? Usually. Adverbs of place, which show where, which means I ask myself a question where for the action, and the answer is your adverbs of place. Go inside. Where should I go? Inside. The little child followed his mother everywhere. Where did the little child follow his mother? Everywhere. Adverbs of degree or quantity, which show how much or in what degree or to what extent. He's too careless. To what extent is he careless? Too careless. Is that any better? So here my adverb is any. These mangoes are almost ripe. To what extent are they ripe? Almost ripe. So in these sentences, my adverb of degree or quantity is to, any, and almost, because they are defining how much or to what extent or degree is my, action, uh, act, acting. Okay, so the next is, or the last one is adverbs of affirmation or negation, where you are trying to give a complete no answer. He's not going to come to the party, so maybe not is my adverb. He will certainly come for the party, and certainly is my adverb. The usage of adverb of affirmation or negation is less in writings because we try to avoid the usage of these words. He will certainly come for the party, all that, because they make your writing a bit informal. Okay, now we have one more form of adverb, which is adverb of reason. He is hence unable to deny his proposal. So the word hence is basically defining the reason. So it is adverb of reason. He therefore left home early today. So maybe he left home early today because of some reason. That is why my word therefore is adverb of reason. Now some of the adverbs may belong to more than one class. So as I said, if the usage changes, the kind of adverb also changes for the same word. She sings delightfully. So I ask myself, how does she sing delightfully? So I get an answer to the question how. So it's adverb of manner. The weather is delightfully cool. So I ask myself, to what extent is the weather cool? Delightfully. So here the usage changes to adverb of degree. Don't go far. So where should I not go? Don't go far. So it is adverb of place. He's far better now. To what extent is he better now? Far better now. So here it is adverb of degree. So for the same word, so as we discussed before, when the usage of the word in the sentence changes, the parts of speech changes. But sometimes when the usage of the word in a sentence changes, it's, you know, a type of that particular parts of speech can also change. It may remain an adverb only, but the type of adverb may change if the placement of that word changes in the sentence, thus changing the usage of the word in the sentence. So I hope it was useful. And here we finish the adjective and adverb. In the further lessons, you'll go through the basics of sentences and more concepts to improve your grammar. Thank you so much for your time. Happy learning.